What's going on, sports card collectors? It's the weekend, and I have a little bit of an SGC return that I personally sent in. Some vintage basketball. I thought they'd be pretty cool to get graded, get them slabbed up and protected. They seem to be some hot cards going on in the market now anyways. And I thought they would look good in the Tuxedo black. So I figured, since I just got my surprise order back from SGC, they gave me the tracking number but told me it was FedEx, and it ended up being priority mail. So I was getting a little concerned because it shipped out last Friday and it came in yesterday, a week later. So I'm thankful that I got them back all in one piece, no damage done to the box. And now we're going to do the reveal. So if you bear with me here, it won't take too long, but this is a Kevin McHale, and we got a 9 on his 1981-82 tops. So looks pretty sharp in the again the black Tuxedo. Up next, Daryl Dawkins, 1977-78 tops. We got a 9. And Moses Malone, 75-76 tops. We got an 8 on that. Pete Maravich, we got a 7. It's a 72-73 tops Pete Maravich. I'll be honest with you, that looks, I know it's off-centered, but it still looks pretty crisp. So for a 7, I'll take it, especially for how old the card is. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 72-73 tops. We got a 3.5. And I can see there's some of the weight staining on there, the corners. But you know what? These vintage cards are being highly sought lately. When I jumped on, I got them at a fairly decent price. But as of recent, if you're looking at vintage cards, even raw, the cards are just skyrocketing. So up next, Wilt Chamberlain, 71-72 tops. We got a 5. And I don't know if you can see it, there's some ink running there, but all in all, I mean, the corners I know are a little soft, but I thought this was a pretty decent shape card. Yes, it's off-centered, but slabbed, it's a 5. Again, if you're looking at these vintage cards, these prices are going crazy just for the raw alone, and even the graded cards are skyrocketing. And then ironically, for those of you that are used to the heritage, I picked up a Kobe Bryant 2000 and 2001 tops heritage, and I just thought this was really cool. There's a Wilt Chamberlain, and there's my man Kobe Bryant, and this came back a 10. So this really made this submission worth it by getting this 10 on the Kobe Bryant. So there you have it. I know the submission group there, they're talking about started back up in the middle of March, which I'm looking forward to that. So I've been holding off doing submissions. I'm going to bring up some of the other grading companies, HGA. I like the concept of what they're doing of almost duplicating BGS in the sense of giving you your grade on the corners and the centering, and then giving you the color match of your choice to match the card for the label. However, I'm not completely sold yet on them, so we will see. Excuse me. It's very hard to get your order shipped out because they only take so many orders so that they can get them back to you in a certain amount of time. However, SGC, if I did go through the group submission, Boca Subs, if we send the cards to them, not as a group, but just as our own individual, he can walk them right to SGC. He still gets priority, so the turnaround time is actually really quick. GMA is still holding their own on their turnaround time, and they're in the process, if you go on and look, of creating a new label and adding a pristine or a gold possibly into that in their grading. So I like the idea of that. one of the PSA groups that I'm in, although I've never done a group submission to PSA as of yet, just announced that in March, PSA is going to be updating or increasing their prices. So we know SGC, we know all of them really potentially are just going to increase their prices. But I guess my question is for those of you that are just loyal to PSA only, at what point, excuse me, at what point do you decide that I guess, let me equate it to a vehicle. Maybe most of you can equate to this, but if you have a vehicle that needs repair on it, and if you're like me, I can't afford a new one, so it's not under warranty, but, and you have to do a repair on it, and then a week later you have to do another repair on it, and then a week later you have to do another repair on it, and then before you know it, you're over $2,000 into the vehicle in a 3-week period. I say this because this just happened to me recently. I did put over $2,000, but some part of that was tires. At what point do you decide I'm investing into a lemon, and you need to move on and go look at something else? And maybe this is not a very good scenario comparison, but I guess I'm curious is at what price are you just willing? It doesn't matter what the price is. You will always send into PSA because, I'm not a multi-millionaire. If that was the case, then maybe this wouldn't be an issue, but how can you afford to send into PSA large orders and afford it? And excuse me, every time I go to talk, I yawn. So, and I get it. And this is not a question directed to really those that have YouTube channels that have their thousands of followers, because you've been monetized now. So the money that you have coming in would allow you to afford it. But for those that don't, and you're still a PSA loyalist, how is it that you're able to keep pouring out the money to grade a card? I understand the return possibilities, but with the wait time that you have, it's even a bigger gamble that during your wait period, the ups and downs and the upward increase and the downward increase of that particular card graded, you've missed out on, and you just don't know where it's going to be at the time that you get it back. So specifically this year, excuse me, the NBA season, I thought with the shorter turnaround from last season to this season, the hype was going to be, last year's rookies were going into it. This year's rookies kind of really haven't had a chance to build up to it. But now that we're getting like the NBA hoops coming out, and we have reveals of the Panini Revolution for this year that'll be coming. I find more of this season kind of a disappointment, in my opinion, in the sense that you have star players, young star players that you're gambling on and hoping their value goes up and down. But because of the pandemic, you have individuals that were close contact or that actually came down with the COVID. And so it's taken them out this season. And so the values haven't really quite reached where they're supposed to be. I know Vegas Dave had his little video on YouTube with Vegas Dave versus Gary V, and he's predicting that 2024 the card market's going to crash, but he wants to do his part to prevent that, and and revealed that if Gary V would be honest, he would admit it too, but he doesn't want to admit that to his followers. And I understand it. You have investors that are getting the market driving the prices up, so that eventually what's going to happen is it's going to dive and prices are going to go back to what they really should be. So it's making it harder for the hobbyist. And I say hobbyist, those of us that buy, collect, have for our PC, and also sell. I wouldn't really as much as labeled us the hobbyist. The true hobbyist to me would be the individual that's looking to buy and add to their PC. And maybe do a little bit of selling on the side, but they are adding to their personal collection. I appreciate with people coming to my site, and I've said it before, yes, I have graded cards, and then I sell raw cards, and I don't just sell raw cards because I don't want to get them graded. I'm trying to sell to the masses of hobbyists and collectors, and to appeal to everybody. So when somebody buys 25 Alonzo Mourning rookie cards from me in a actually it's a 4-card lot, 5 lots, and they buy all of them up, and they paid $20 for all of those $25 or 25 cards, give or take, and I get a response back that, what a great price, thank you, appreciate it. And my response to them is, that's what we do. Yeah, I'm into this. Nobody gets into business to lose money, and so when people look at that, people have to understand that back in 96, 97, I was into sports cards and sports memorabilia, and I had a contact out in California that called me weekly. So one of these days I'll get this on here in a video. I have a really huge framed and matted autographed jersey by Ken Griffey Jr. with a placard, his Fleer rookie card on it, a pin, and his photo, and it's framed up on my bedroom wall. My wife actually lets me keep it on my wall. So I got out of the sports memorabilia, but because I bought so much sports and memorabilia over the time, I had an autographed photo of Tiger Woods with an autographed basketball on a plaque, or not basketball, an autographed golf ball on a plaque that I had bought way back then, and sold that over the years. Autographed football jerseys, sold that over the years. So the individual that I dealt with out in California would include sports cards for me for free. Nothing's for free. It's probably built into my price when I bought the memorabilia, but because I was such a high customer back then, I also got a wood, like flannel lined storage box that had my name on it also, that was given to me. So these cards, some of them I got, did not cost me anything, so I'm still making my money off of it, but I'm offering it at a price that it's affordable for others. Whether they go and turn and flip it to grade, that's fine. If it's just for their personal collection, that's fine also, or a mixture of both. But the idea is I have a lot of cards inventory. I've showed you before that I have cards off to the right waiting to go on. That just got added. My son opened up a blaster box of hoops yesterday in search for a LaMelo Ball, which he did not get, but he did buy a Slam Kobe Bryant, and he gave that to me. So I, in turn, when my last video, if you watched, I pulled a LaMelo Ball out of my blaster box. I gave him my LaMelo Ball in exchange for the fact that he gave me the Kobe Bryant Slam. So, I have quite a few Kobe Bryant cards that I have them in one touches. I've done a video on that to show. And, my goal eventually is to get most of those slabbed up and graded. And so we will go from there. But the sports market in general for me, because I'm primarily basketball, it's been an up and down roller coaster in my opinion. I've enjoyed watching the basketball season, the NBA season, but it's kind of missed that excitement. And I don't know if it's just because there's not any fans when you watch it on TV. It hurts for me as a Lakers fan because you got Anthony Davis out. And then you watch the new big three with the Nets, but Durant's out right now. Everybody's jumped on the Nets bandwagon now, and they're going to win the NBA playoffs. I'll give you my personal opinion. I don't think the Nets are winning the playoffs this year. So that's just my personal opinion. I think there's too much firepower there, but there's only one basketball to go around. My son told me, well, Harden's not there to shoot. He wants to share the ball. Well, that'll remain to be seen when you get all three of them out there playing on a more consistent basis. But, yeah, for me personally, I'm not excited about this year's rookie class. Although if I had to pick one player out of the rookie class that I really like, and he's been out injured, it would be James Wiseman. And it's not to knock LaMelo Ball. He's been having a heck of a season, to be honest with you, and his composure at a young age, and his shots, he's scoring points, he's getting rebounds, he's getting the assists. So I have nothing against that. I'm kind of disappointed in seeing the Timberwolves. You got Russell out. Karl Anthony Towns has been out. I thought they would be able to do more. I'm a big Karl Anthony Towns fan, but unfortunately, I don't think there's any hope for them of ever winning an NBA championship, especially in the West. You know, you feel bad to see somebody like a Bradley Beal on a team that will probably never win an NBA championship, and yet the firepower that he has, it's just a shame. But that's just the same thing growing up with myself in the 80s. You know, you've got Hall of Fame basketball players that never won an NBA championship. Had they did win at least one, you wonder if the value of their card would be even more. So that's why you look forward to, and everybody's jumped back to the older years now of vintage, you know, like a Kobe Bryant, when we hopefully have the induction this summer. The values of him are going to go up. You watched Michael Jordan is just going crazy right now. So, and then you have Luka Doncic. You know, everybody was really high on him, and quite honestly, he as of late he's done better, but he hasn't been that spectacular in my opinion. So it's a crazy year. It's a crazy year for sports cards and prices, and I'm constantly making adjustments for my cards that are online for sale, especially the graded ones. You know, I got to look to see what I have into it, and then I got to determine what am I comfortable with for a return. You know, is it 20, 30, 40, 50? Is it $100? It depends on the card. So, you know, I'm trying to offer the best value for everybody. You know, I'm still over 1,500 cards plus listed on eBay. I try to do 10 cards a day listing. So, you know, that's 70 cards a week getting put on, sometimes more, sometimes less. And we just keep plugging away. My goal is to eventually sell off all my raw cards and just stick to graded cards. Whether it's a combination of GMA, SGC, BGS, PSA, HGA, whatever it is, I'd like to just stick to graded cards. And so, yeah, so if you look at my cards on my eBay store and say, man, why is he selling them so cheap? There's no catch. I'm just trying to move inventory. So, yeah, a lot of these cards are listed as $1, $1.25, $1.50, or $5 and less if you want. And I honestly would love to hear people's feedback if you've used the eBay standard envelope. I used to list cards for 85 cents, and then I put a stamp on them and send them an envelope, and it's really worked well. But my always concern was had no way to track it. So I will tell you, I absolutely love the new eBay standard envelope, and I don't send it in a regular envelope, anymore. It's in a cardboard like photo envelope. And now it's got the tracking. It's not the same tracking as first class, but at least I know there's tracking on there. And so I actually like that more than just putting a stamp on an envelope. So I don't want to keep on rambling. I will give a shout out to Carson Cruz. Go check out my man there. He's got an eBay store. He's got a YouTube page. He's got his Instagram page. The guy reached out to me a few months back about GMA, and I'll be honest with you, this guy is doing this for his job, and he's been killing it. He really works hard to do some behind-the-scenes analytics, if you want to call it, and finding these diamond in the roughs, the nook and crannies of collection, if you want to call it. He's like the Thomas's English muffin of sports cards right now. I'm trying to find these nook and crannies. So I just like to give a shout out to Carson Cruz. So go check him out. I'll put a link to his YouTube page down below. And he doesn't know that I was doing this. So, but I just want to give a shout out to him. Him and I have had conversations back and forth, and he's run some ideas off me, and I've run them off of him at times. So, yeah, go check my boy out at Carson Cruz and see what he has to offer also. So, guys, I appreciate taking the time to watch the video on this reveal. Again, it just wasn't a vintage. I'm waiting for the Boca subgroup, Boca Raton subgroup for SGC to get back into play so that we can start submitting the group submissions. But yeah, there we have it. And we'll see you guys next time. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy.